I have a 2000 Ford Mustang GT with about 145,000 miles on it. Has the original Radiator stock. Over the past year, it's been very rarely driven, but I find that every time I go out in it now, it drops a couple inches of coolant from the reservoir tank. So it's not a lot, but it's enough to be concerning, and I'm going to change that out right now with a Mishimoto Performance Radiator. Here's the brackets. It's packaged very well. So I'm putting these rubber grommets in the holes in the side of the bracket, and these brackets will then get installed to the side of the radiator. And what happens is, if you come down hard on the car with acceleration and it causes a little torque, instead of twisting or putting any undue stress on the radiator, this bracket will absorb that type of shock and keep the integrity of the radiator. Because this is an aluminum radiator, you definitely don't want to over tighten this. I'm chalking the rear wheels for once the front end is off the ground. Okay, now with the car secure in the jacks, we're going to disconnect the negative terminal on the battery, and then we can drain our coolant. There we go. All right. Save that for later. And then if we loosen the reservoir cap, that should allow this to drip out a lot more quickly. Okay, now we will pull the overflow hose off the reservoir tank. Pair of pliers. Pinch on those, pull the clip back, and then just gently tug on the hose. That does that. Now we've got some nuts we have to take off that's holding the reservoir tank in place. And with that, I think I should be able to pull this off. So we do have a hose down on the bottom here still. I am going to try to pull this other hose off now. It's hard to get at, it's kind of tight here. Taking this last hose off this reservoir tank was kind of hard to do with the wrench. So I grabbed vice grips and I was able to slide it off there. So now this is off. Okay, now we have to take this upper rad hose off. So again, pinch it in. Oh. Okay, so there's still a little extra coolant that's being stored in this pipe, and just pointed the open end down into the drain pan now, so that's just dripping the last little bit out of there. But that's the top rad hose. We are going to replace this because this is still original and it is a little spongy. So might as well do that while I've got everything else being changed out. Now we need to do the bottom hose. So I'll climb under the car, I think, for that one. I'm going to try to get that. Okay, so that clip was much easier to move. Now I'm going to slide the drain pan over, and then I'm going to pull that off. I'm going to try to pull it from the top. So there's not too much coolant in that one at all. That's pretty much dry as it is. Okay, and then I've got to unplug this fan shroud, which pops out pretty easily. You get out a stick a screwdriver, just wedge it in there and pull on it a little bit. And then this will pop off here as well. A little coaxing. Okay. There. And looks like there's another one right here, two of these. Okay, that's loose now. This rad cover here was a little bit hard to take off because this was stripped here, and this one I had to like wedge a screwdriver underneath it and then a set of pliers and try to loosen it that way. So broke this one, all other screws came out, and now we've got access to the to these rad brackets. So we're going to loosen these now and take these off. Okay, and we've got this bracket. I think this thing should lift right out now. Got a little more coolant dripping here just from loosening this. Oh, you know what? I'm caught with another hose here. I have one more. So it's just pulling out this hose from this last connector into the rad fan, and this wouldn't pull out, and actually broke it outside of the hose. It snapped, so that'll probably just have to be the way it is, but we should be loose now. There we go. There's more coolant. At least it's on the right side. Okay, just wanted to take an opportunity and show you the differences between the two radiators. Of course, this one is aluminum. This is 2 rows versus the 1 row, and you can see that the thickness is probably maybe twice as thick as this. I'm not sure how much fluid this would take, but this takes about 4 gallons of coolant. And when you look at the sides here, this is the plastic. It's like a 2-piece, so you've got the metal and plastic, and this is like the weakness. This is where a lot of the Ford radiators go over time. And of course, this one is just all aluminum, so it's a better radiator, and it's got a lifetime warranty as well, the Mishimoto. So with that, I'm going to now turn my attention to the hoses on the car. I have got 2 replacements for the upper and the lower rad. This one needs to go down below, and this one right here. So got these from Rock Auto, and I'll spend some time now trying to massage these into place. So it looks like there's a lot of coolant and oil down there. It's dirty. That's why I'm wearing gloves. And hopefully it won't be too bad. Okay, we have changed out the bottom radiator hose and the upper radiator hose, and I will tell you that these clips here are a real bear. There's a special tool you can get to do this, which makes it a lot easier, and I would recommend, if you're going to be changing them out, get the tool. So now we're going to go and take the fan off the old radiator, and we're going to install it onto the new radiator. I just dropped the fan into the new Mishimoto. There's 2 brackets right here which it slides down into, and then there's just 2 bolts which get screwed in here. That's all there is for that. And now we're ready to drop this back in place and start reattaching the hoses again. It doesn't fit. So as you can see, the radiator did fit. I had to take the battery out, I had to take the fan off, move some pipes a little bit, put it in kitty corner, but then it dropped into place and worked out fine. Okay, so now that we have the radiator dropped in and it's securely fastened into the lower isolators, we also have the fan installed, and it's time to plug in the fan shroud. You can see me doing that right here now. But after I'm done this, it's going to be just reconnecting everything that we'd taken off before. Radiator hoses, both upper and lower, getting that coolant reservoir tank put back on and attaching the overflow hose to that. So here you can see I've already tightened the rad brackets on, And now I've got the apron that I'm putting over top just to cover it all up. We are refilling the system with 2 quarts of 50-50 mixed coolant. We will leave the rad cap off, start the vehicle for at least 15 minutes, and turn the heat on high to help get all the air bubbles out of the heating system. So getting this Mishimoto radiator in is now complete. It is kind of a satisfying job now that it's over with, but I must say, while I was doing it, it wasn't quite as satisfying. Some of the tricky parts are having to put it in, making it fit. We had to take the air filter out, had to remove the battery, kitty corner, play around with it. But to be honest, the hardest parts were I changed radiator hoses, and that was really difficult to fit on the lower intake of the radiator, as well as the spring-loaded clips. My recommendation is get the screw-in clips and don't play around spending all that time with spring-loaded. But happy with it, it's working, and hopefully this helps you.